Kerry Clark is hunting.
That's how we do it. And look, there's a tick right there already.
Hunting ticks, tracing the carriers of Lyme disease.
This is not a black-legged tick. It looks almost exactly like a black-legged tick.
4 years ago, he felt a bite.
5 days later, I had this strange fatigue and some general malaise, and I had these swollen lymph nodes on the side of my neck.
The diagnosis, Lyme disease. The Centers for Disease Control estimates that every year there are approximately 300,000 cases. It says 95% of those occur in just 13 states, all of them in the Northeast and Upper Midwest.
Deer ticks exist in southern states. They don't really bite humans like the northern ones do. So there may be other factors why, even though the deer ticks exist in southern states and some of them even carry the bacteria that causes Lyme disease, we don't see many cases of human Lyme disease.
But Clark was exploring in Georgia when he was bitten, and he says there's plenty of evidence Lyme is not so rare in the South.
Over time is just kind of being self-reinforced that we don't have it here, it's rare to non-existent in the South, and this sort of thing. And then doctors were educated and indoctrinated into that belief. And so even when they see it, they don't recognize it.
Other experts are starting to agree. Lyme disease is spreading.
But Lyme disease does occur in many other states. So the question is not whether Lyme disease exists in the Southeast or the South Central United States. It certainly does. The question is, how much of a public health problem is it?
Scientists believe the disease will keep moving south, in part because of the changes in climate.
They send me my data files.
Clark's doctor put him on a course of antibiotics, and his symptoms did go away, but they came back just 2 months later.
One day I developed a headache, and it was a migraine severity type headache. It came on immediately, and it stayed for 3 weeks. I had pressure in my head, neck stiffness, and other things like that.
While a majority of patients with Lyme disease see their symptoms go away after an initial course of antibiotics, another 10 to 20% have symptoms that linger. Some, like Clark, end up taking antibiotics for months at a time.
When carefully studied, where antibiotics long-term have been compared to placebo, we don't see any effect.
The CDC told us the lasting symptoms are real, but they're probably due to nerve damage, not a lingering infection. But others say that issue isn't settled.
We also know from animal models that there are situations when the pathogen, the Lyme bacterium, does persist. So I think that the potential for the Lyme disease pathogen to persist following standard antibiotic treatment is reasonably high, and it probably is occurring in some Lyme disease patients.
Clark is hoping the answer may lie in some of these ticks he's rounding up, that understanding them better could spare patients all over a lot more pain.